Speaking Part 1, Giving Advice, Tips and Strategies. Reading the question and preparing. Understand the situation. Who needs advice? Why does he or she need advice? Understand what you need to give advice about. What do you have to advise about? Focus on the specific subject of the question. You can take notes. You will be given a notepad. Write 2 ideas. Use words, not full sentences. You can write notes in your language. The notes will not be graded. Put yourself in the situation. Imagining the context visually and putting yourself in the situation improves your understanding. What would you tell your friend or coworker if this was true? Question notes. Question complexity. This question is more focused on CLB 7 or higher. There's a longer speaking time, 1.5 minutes. More difficult question to provide answers for. Requires more vocabulary and knowledge. Conditionals and modals important. Using modals of advice, possibility, necessity. Advice: should, would, could. Possibility: may, might, could. Necessity: have to, need to, must. Conditionals: if or when. Organize, use all your time. Important to follow order and try to speak for all the time. Avoid repetition. Follow sequence of ideas. The more you speak, the better. So here we are in sample of speaking part 1, giving advice from the CELPIP website. And we want to just point out some information from our guide. The first part is about reading the question. You should read it part by part to understand the topic. And it says here, your 18-year-old friend Linda is graduating and wants to buy a gift for her teacher. So breaking the sentence up to make sure we understand. Okay, she's graduating, wants to buy a gift for the teacher, and then give her advice on what she should and should not get. So focusing in on those keywords, should and should not get for her teacher. Very important to understand the question so we can answer it correctly. And I will point out we have the preparation time here and the recording time here and the recording timer here. So it will stop recording until the end. We didn't hear it say start speaking now, but it will in the beginning. And it should say um, time is over at the end when the time is finished. Organizing your response. Introduce the question. You can start by saying, if I had to advise someone about the topic, I'd make some important suggestions. Or, hello, I want to advise you about. First idea. First of all, I'd suggest to. Or first, I think you should. Give examples or explain your first idea. For example, or this would be good because. Second idea. Another good idea would be to. Or secondly, I think you could. Give examples or explain your second idea. For example, or this would be good because. Third idea, higher levels can give another one. Last but not least, I would advise to conclude if you have time. Overall, I think the best advice would be to. So, I just want to look here at answering this question according to our guide. It's very important to have a guided response or to organize your answer. It'll help you with making ideas and also speak more. So according to our guide, we should introduce the question, and you can do it in several ways. The first way is, if I had to advise my friend Linda about what she could or couldn't get for her teacher as a present, I'd make some important suggestions. So that's the first way. Or you can also imagine you're talking to Linda, and you could say, "Hello Linda, I want to advise you about what you should and shouldn't get for your teacher." Okay, either one is good. Then we should give the first idea. So, first of all, I'd suggest to get her a book. For example, get her a book. I said that. Or first, I think you should get her a book. Whatever your idea is, this is a good way to start. After that, we want to give examples or we want to explain. Um, so in this case, because I said you should give her a book, I should explain why a book is good. So I'm going to explain. This would be good because teachers love books, or because a book would be really memorable and it could be something that's good for her. So I'm explaining why the book is good. Now I'm going to turn this around. Imagine for my first idea, I said, first of all, I'd suggest to get her something memorable. Okay, I said for my idea, first of all, I'd suggest to get her something memorable. Now, when I give my example or explain, I'm going to give an example. For example, you could get her a book because books are very memorable and teachers love books. So you see, it just depends what your idea is on whether you should give an example or explain why that idea is good. Okay, so now we're going to move to a second idea. We're over here. So we can start by saying another good idea would be to buy her some flowers. Okay. Secondly, I think you could buy her some flowers. The second one is like you're talking to the person. So again, here I said flowers. So in my examples or explain, I need to say why that's good. I need to explain. This would be good because flowers are very beautiful and teachers love to have flowers in the classroom. Or in here, if I said another good idea would be to get her something beautiful or something that she can keep in the classroom, then I would have to give an example. For example, you could get her flowers or you could buy her a clock. Okay? Then we go here to one more idea. Remember, I giving another idea would be for higher levels. I would say 7 or higher. Um, Last but not least, I would advise my friend to buy her a membership from an online um, resource center for education, for example. And then concluding is very important. Always remember you want to give a complete response. So having a conclusion would increase your score. And here you just want to conclude by saying, overall, I think the best advice would be to. So the best advice, like what would it be? And you can say would be to get her something that she can remember forever and something that would make her feel special, for example. Okay, so that's a good way to develop answers using a guide or developing a guided response. Factors which influence your score. Ideas and vocabulary. The ideas and level of vocabulary determine your score. CLB 4 to 6, simple and basic ideas and vocabulary. CLB 7 or higher, the more complex the idea and stronger vocabulary, the higher the level. Fluency and rate of speech. The rate of speech is important. Try to keep speaking continuously, but not so fast. If you get stuck, move to another idea or point. Clarity. You need to speak clearly to avoid pronunciation errors. Emphasize important points clearly. Sentence construction and grammar. Complete sentences and no simple grammar errors. CLB 4 to 6 have many simple grammar errors, especially in simple present, past, and future tenses, pronouns, plural singular, and prepositions. For levels CLB 7 or higher, the important part is using higher level grammar. For example, perfect tenses, passive, modalities, and conditionals. Provide a complete response. Answer the question completely. Respond all parts of the question. How many ideas you provide increases your score. The more examples and explanation increases your score. Provide a conclusion. That is the end of Speaking Part 1, Giving Advice, Tips, and Strategies.